Long before their cinematic universe dominated the box office, before the billion-dollar blockbusters and the sprawling Disney Plus sagas, Marvel was flooding Saturday mornings with animated experiments. Some lasted one season, others barely made it through production. While Spider-Man and the X-Men became household names, dozens of other Marvel heroes got their shot at cartoon glory and failed spectacularly. Today we're rescuing 10 obscure Marvel cartoons from the 80s that came, flopped, and vanished. From disco-powered mutants to teenage versions of The Thing, these shows prove not every hero was destined for stardom, but they all deserve to be remembered. Let's dive in. Number 10. Dazzler, the disco mutant superhero who never made it to air. In 1984, Marvel tried to capitalize on the disco craze with Alison Blair, a mutant who could convert sound into light beams. She was a roller-skating singing superhero designed to sell records and toys simultaneously. The animated pilot was produced, but the series was canceled before a single episode aired. By 1984, disco was dead. The concept felt dated before it launched. Marvel pulled the plug, and Dazzler became one of the most expensive failed experiments in 80s animation history. The pilot footage still exists in Marvel's archives. If you ever saw bootleg VHS copies at conventions in the 90s, you witnessed television history that was never meant to be. Number 9. Pride of the X-Men, the pilot that gave Wolverine an Australian accent. In 1989, Marvel produced a pilot episode featuring Kitty Pryde joining the X-Men. It had everything: Magneto, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, Sentinels, and Wolverine sounding like Crocodile Dundee. The animation was gorgeous, the action was intense, but networks passed. Test audiences hated Wolverine's accent. The tone was too serious for Saturday morning standards. Networks wanted lighter fare, and Marvel refused to compromise. The pilot aired once as a special and disappeared. This pilot became the basis for the X-Men arcade game in 1992, which became a massive hit. The show failed, but the game became legendary. Number 8. The Incredible Hulk. Not the 90s version you remember, the bizarre 1982 original. This version featured Bruce Banner traveling the country helping people while transforming into the Hulk. Sound familiar? It was basically the live-action show but animated. The twist? Hulk teamed up with random Marvel heroes like She-Hulk and Betty Ross for no explained reason. The show couldn't decide if it was a solo Hulk story or a team-up series. Episodes felt disjointed. Kids wanted Hulk smashing, not Hulk having feelings. It lasted one season and 13 episodes before cancellation. The opening theme was a synthesizer nightmare that haunted Saturday mornings for one glorious year. If you remember it, you're in an elite club. Number 7. Fred and Barney Meet the Thing. Yes, this actually happened. In 1979, Hanna-Barbera convinced Marvel to let them mash up the Flintstones with the Thing. But here's the twist. Ben Grimm was a teenager who found magic rings that transformed him into the Thing. He never met Fred or Barney. The title was a complete lie. The show was 3 separate segments that had nothing to do with each other. Kids felt tricked by the false advertising, parents were confused, critics savaged it. It lasted one season before everyone involved pretended it never existed. This is the Mandela effect of 80s cartoons. People remember the title but not a single plot because the title promised something the show never delivered. Number 6. Spider-Woman. Marvel's attempt to cash in on Spider-Man's success with a completely different character. Jessica Drew wasn't bitten by a radioactive spider. She was injected with spider serum as a child, gained psychic powers, could shoot venom blasts, and worked as a magazine editor. The show lasted 16 episodes in 1979 and featured her fighting Hydra agents while maintaining her secret identity. The show had an identity crisis. It couldn't decide if it was a superhero action show or a detective mystery series. The psychic powers made no sense for a spider-themed hero. Kids expected Spider-Man with a different costume and got something completely unrecognizable. The opening theme is burned into the memory of anyone who watched Saturday morning ABC. That synthesizer riff and Jessica Drew swinging through the city became a time capsule of late 70s animation. We're halfway through our list of forgotten relics. If you're enjoying this trip down Marvel's memory lane and want more deep dives into retro animation, hit that subscribe button. It helps us rescue more forgotten shows from the vault. Now let's get back to the weirdness. Number 5. The Thing. The solo series where Ben Grimm was a teenager with magic rings. After the Fred and Barney disaster, Marvel gave The Thing his own show. Benji Grimm was a teenage kid who found two magic rings that let him transform into the Thing by touching them together. He joined a teen rock band called the Yancey Street Gang and fought crime between gigs. Comic book fans hated the magic ring's origin. The teen band angle felt forced. The Thing's personality was completely wrong. He was upbeat and cheerful instead of grumpy and tough. It lasted 26 episodes before Marvel quietly canceled it and pretended it never happened. This show is so obscure that even die-hard Marvel fans forget it existed. If you remember the Yancey Street Gang theme song, you deserve a medal for surviving Saturday morning television in 1979. Number 4. Robonic Stooges. The Three Stooges as crime-fighting robots. Marvel actually made this. In 1977, Marvel Productions teamed up with Norman Maurer Productions to create robot versions of Moe, Larry, and Curly. They worked as super agents fighting crime with bionic powers. Moe had super strength, Larry had gadget arms, and Curly could inflate like a balloon. It was as weird as it sounds. The show tried to blend slapstick comedy with superhero action and failed at both. Kids didn't know who the Three Stooges were. Parents who loved the Stooges hated the robot versions. It lasted 16 episodes before everyone agreed this was a terrible idea. This show is so forgotten that most Marvel historians don't even include it in official timelines. If you remember the Robonic Stooges, you witnessed one of the strangest licensing experiments in television history. Number 3. Fantastic Four 1978, the version where Human Torch was replaced by a robot. NBC was terrified kids would set themselves on fire imitating Human Torch, so Marvel replaced Johnny Storm with Herbie, a flying robot sidekick. The show featured Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, The Thing, and a sarcastic robot fighting Dr. Doom and Galactus across 13 episodes. Fans hated Herbie. The robot couldn't replace Human Torch's personality or powers. The animation quality was inconsistent. NBC's censorship made fight scenes boring. After one season, Marvel got the rights back and pretended this version never existed. Herbie became a punchline in Marvel history. The character occasionally appears in comics as a joke, reminding everyone of NBC's bizarre safety panic in 1978. Number 2. Marvel Action Universe, the ambitious block that tried to launch 5 shows at once and failed spectacularly. In 1988, Marvel launched a Saturday morning block featuring Dino Riders, RoboCop, X-Men, Spider-Man, and Fantastic Four, all airing back-to-back. The problem? They were all produced by different studios with wildly different animation quality. Some episodes looked amazing, others looked like they were drawn on napkins. The inconsistent quality confused audiences. Kids couldn't tell which shows were worth watching. Networks hated the complicated licensing. After one season, Marvel abandoned the block format and let each show die quietly. This block is so obscure that most people remember the individual shows, but not that they were part of Marvel Action Universe. It's the forgotten umbrella that held forgotten cartoons. Number 1. Marvel Superheroes 1966, the show that literally animated comic book panels and called it a cartoon. This was Marvel's first animated series, featuring Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Submariner. But here's the twist. They didn't actually animate anything. They took Jack Kirby's comic panels, added limited movement, and called it animation. Mouths flapped, arms moved slightly, and that was it. Kids in 1966 expected actual cartoons, not comic books with wiggling parts. The limited animation looked cheap even by 60s standards. The show lasted 65 episodes but was mocked for decades as the laziest animation in television history. Despite the terrible animation, the theme songs became legendary. The Iron Man and Spider-Man themes from this era are still used today. Sometimes the music saves the show. From Disco Mutants to Robot Stooges, Marvel's 80s animation experiments were gloriously weird. These shows failed, flopped, and vanished, but they paved the way for the classics we love today. Which forgotten Marvel cartoon do you remember? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into retro animation history, subscribe to Nostalgia Avenue. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.